This is from Pakistan, and you're watching my YouTube channel Insani Ittihad, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us through awareness and understanding. So we're going through some really coincidentally relative days in both the Jewish and the Muslim Islamic calendar. So the new Islamic year has started with the first month of Muharram. The first 10 days, or shall I say first 13 days, are somewhat more are mourning days, starting with the first of Muharram, which is, I think, is the death of the second Caliph, Umar, who we dedicate the shaping and making of the modern day, or the Islam that we see. The Prophet himself and the first Caliph had not structured, or shall I say that organized Islam as much as the era of the second Caliph, which is Umar. He was the one who printed the Quran in mass numbers. He organized the hadiths. He organized the fiqh. Fiqh is the interpretation of laws and everything in between. The sort of structuring of Sharia began in his era. The mass conversion and mass exploration and subjugation of all those other non-Muslim communities happened. He was a fierce warrior of his time. So anyway, the first of Muharram marks his passing, his death anniversary, and then from 1st Muharram till the 10th, 9th and 10th is the Shia. From 6 onwards, I would say 6 Muharram onwards, these are the days where the grandson of the Prophet was persecuted and his family was besieged and murdered in Iraq. The Battle of Karbala. I will not go into details because I just wanted to talk the significance of the two occurrences of the mourning days for the Jewish people and for the Muslim people. So we are mourning. We are, as in people who belong to the Shia faith and who commemorate and mourn the death of the grandson in such a brutal way every year, and forbiddance of playing musical instruments, just like coincidentally on Tisha B'Av, and the first 10 days of the month of Av are observed as the mourning days. No laundering, no clean clothes, no wearing of clean, freshly laundered clothes, no doing laundry or cleaning up till the fast of Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is the day when two of the historical Jewish temples were destroyed, one firstly by the Babylonians and then by the Romans. And it is the saddest day of the Jewish calendar and a public fast day. Yeah. So after Yom Kippur, this is the biggest and the saddest, fast of the Jewish calendar. 25 hours of fasting. But what I wanted to talk about and stress is when both at least the Shia Muslim community and the Jewish community are mourning the persecution and discrimination and death of the grandson and the Holy Family, the Ahl al-Bayt, in these first 10 days. We must also remember the persecution of the Jewish people. Say chosen people. Let's just say, for the argument's sake, What if Hashem chose them for a specific purpose? Not particularly. Let's just not get that they're particularly beloved by Hashem, but for a particular purpose, and are given special, not a special, okay, that word is, that comes with a sort of jealousy and despise connotation, a particular mission. And for that mission, and for being chosen to do such different things, or such different missions in the world, or a way to live, they are being persecuted and discriminated and killed. And for the Shia Muslims, at least, it happened, okay, to the grandson. And yeah, by and large, Shia Muslims are considered by the larger community of Sunni Muslims as infidels or non-Muslims to a certain extent, and they have their own reasoning. And they are persecuted till now, and are actually killed by the Sunni extremists like ISIS or Al-Qaeda. And they have been killing Shia Muslims in Afghanistan and in Pakistan, and especially the pilgrimages, the pilgrims who go by road from Balochistan and Sindh and parts of Pakistan to Iran and then Iraq to commemorate these days of the first month of Muharram. It is seen that terrorist organizations, Sunni Muslim terrorist organizations, target these Shia pilgrims. But I think at least the Shia Muslims should understand what the Jewish people have gone throughout centuries, and throughout all their history of existence. At least in my opinion, Shia Muslims should be the last people, or shouldn't be the people to be anti-Semitic or hateful towards the Jewish people, because the stories are quite similar. Just like the Shia people, just like the grandson of the Prophet is persecuted, not exactly, but I think in some cases in a worse way, the Jewish people are persecuted and killed. Especially, I would like to mention, when I was in Germany and we visited this persecution camp, and I was there, and the person, our guide, was explaining in that hut where that we were standing, and she said that there were like 25 to 30 people living in this small cottage kind of thing, and beside that cottage area, the small sleeping area, and there were like bunkers and stuff, and there were like that area of toilets and stuff, and then she was explicitly explaining that there was a fire in that camp, and the doors were locked, and you would see the scratches from the nail. It was a horrific. I mean, the whole thing was very difficult to actually hear and then observe and watch those walls and stuff, and it kind of affects me in a very negative way. And at that point, I just came out of that thing because I just couldn't breathe, and I could not stay there and listen to that whole narration that the guide was telling us. And it is almost similar to what we hear in these we organize in the first 10 days of Muharram, the zikr. And that zikr is like the retelling of the story of the persecution happened to the grandson of the Prophet. I had to clean up and just have to. So we in the first 10 days we do this zikr, which is called which we narrate the story and the persecution of the grandson of the Prophet, their martyrhood. So standing there, it was like that, and I had to just go out from that place, and I went out, and I just had to. It was just not in a good shape. So I just wanted to go back to the bus at the Muslim Church conference, and there was this guy. He happened to be the first gay Shia imam in, I think, Germany. I don't exactly remember which city, but a great guy. He caught me. He caught up to me halfway through, and kind of related to. He kind of made the analogy uh, to this whole thing, and yeah, it was at time comforting to hear that, yeah, people are persecuted for taking a stand, or just simply being different. And yeah, so it was a good analogy, and I thought since 9th of Av, Tisha B'Av is actually coming on Shabbat, and since Shabbat is a blessed day and a happy day and a joyous day, and we welcome Shabbat, so we don't fast on a Shabbat. So the 9th of the Tisha B'Av fast is moved to Sunday, and Sunday is actually 9th of Muharram, when the killing of the Ahlul Bayt, or the family of the grandson of the Prophet, started. So 9th and 10th was the 2 days that all the male members, by and large, all the male members who were able to fight the battle with the opponent Sunni Muslim rulers at that time. And the context is to that the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, Imam Hussein, was he took a stand for the people of Kufa in Iraq, that a minority ruler has taken over and is not actually a credible person to lead them. So this power, this power and control of the Muslim empire started early on. I guess right after the death of the Prophet, and the Shia Sunni divide sort of dominated this rift of taking over how should Islam and the Islamic Caliphate, or the Islamic governance should be all about. But anyway, whatever the context, that's a different thing. But right now, what I wanted to share is that Shia Muslims should be the last people to be anti-Semitic, and Shia Muslims should be the last people to actually criticize the state of Israel or the Jewish people's right to defend themselves and have a sovereign power to make their own decision and have a social structure based on Jewish values, and a safe home for Jewish people who are not necessarily very religious. And ironically, this is the time when, and most of the Shia Muslims actually fast on the 9th of Muharram and 10th of the Muharram. And now that Tisha B'Av is pushed forward on Sunday is the 9th of Muharram, but 10th of Av, and the Tisha B'Av fast, and Shia people, I will be fasting for Tisha B'Av, definitely. Yes, I will be fasting for Tisha B'Av. And I think I thought that this is a good time to give the message to all those Shia Muslims who will also be fasting for the 9th of Muharram, to see that analogy, that since we have been since the Shia people have been, okay, I am a Sushi, half of my family is Shia and half is Sunni. I am more towards the Sunni, I am more towards the Shia belief, or Shia belief system when I was practicing Islam. But I do understand the Sunni context also, since half of the family is Sunni also. So I have a very unique family where, there are radical Sunnis, literally radical Sunnis. One of my uncles are just radically Sunni, and then there is this very Shia. My father was a big time Shia, and my mother I would call her a Shia Muslim by any means, because that's how she was. And yeah, I think this is something that I would like to share, and it's a good time to share, that at least Shia Muslims should know how it is to be persecuted, discriminated, and be killed for being different, and having this ability to connect to the divine, to Hashem in a different way. And perhaps if they study or they read the Jewish history without being biased, they just read it and know about it and learn about it, they would know that Jewish people have been persecuted far worse. There are atrocities and discrimination that they have gone through are far worse than what happened in Karbala. Far worse. And I have been I'm also, I would say, Baruch Hashem, that I was blessed to have such an exposure, thanks to Ilya Sarkozy, thanks to Muslim Jewish Conference. But it was a very difficult and emotional and tormenting experience. But yet, like that Shia Imam, that gay Shia Imam said, that it's important to mourn. It is important to know these saddest. It is important to mourn and see those sad things over and on, to remember the Holocaust, because no matter how difficult that is, it is important for the humanity to have dignity and responsibility, and to know that as humans we can go this low and this bad, but we actually don't have to go this bad, and have to, have some serious thought that, we have to have a certain amount of tolerance and acceptance for the other, no matter what and who they are, because that is a basic freedom given to every human being by Hashem, and no other human being has the right to take it away. Yes, there has to be law and justice. If someone is harming another human being, either emotionally, physically, or whatever, that person should be stopped and put into prison or punished for what they have done. But obviously, discriminating someone for out of their faith, out of their right to live in a certain way shouldn't be violated, and that tolerance should be created in every community. So I hope the Shia community remembers and understands that what happened to the grandson of Prophet, far worse things have happened to the Jewish people, who are also the children of Hashem, of Allah. So I hope that some people do get some light from these two incidents, and sort of think about it. And it's not healthy that out of all the other faith communities, Jewish community do not have the right of access to their holiest place in Yerushalayim at Temple Mount. It's about time that we should think that why on earth, how did that mosque came to be or allowed to be built on somebody else holiest place on earth, and that's the only holiest place they have. So no one has the right to destroy somebody's holiest place, and nobody has the right to build their religious place on top of a place which belongs to somebody else. So both Muslims and Christians have to think about this thing very, very seriously. Thank you very much.